Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulullah wa ba'd. Right. If you click the document in the description, you click the document which I've called your final steps. So basically, I'm talking to those people who have finished the advanced 7-stage plan. Okay, and you got that reaction, that final reaction that you're cured. Alhamdulillah. Tayyib. Okay. I'm reading from the document. Once you have completed the advanced 7-stage plan, I would strongly recommend that you try the first diagnosis below. If you get a reaction, then alhamdulillah, everything is fine and you are still cured. Okay, if you scroll down, there's the diagnosis. All right. Final comprehensive cure diagnosis number 1. For those with SDs on the deterrent connect pathways. Final version 7. Okay, that's a more comprehensive diagnosis. And the reason why it's more comprehensive is because this is just a summary, which you see at the beginning in number 1. That's just a summary of it. The larger diagnosis, it's quite a long diagnosis, is at the bottom. So if you scroll down, you come to point number 9. You'll see point number 9. There is that's the long version, basically. That's the long version. So in that summary, you're basically referring to this. Now, the reason why we had to do it like this, okay, is because we realized the Iblis and his army were playing around with the final diagnosis. So we had to try to make it as thorough as possible to cover all the loopholes. So they had stopped trying to do anything regarding the treatments. And like I've said in the previous video, one of the previous videos, it's basically the end of the treatment intentions. Regarding the war of intentions, it's finished, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. But what they were doing, they were focusing on diagnosis. We noticed that they switched and they were working on diagnosis. So that's why we came up with this one. Okay, this is the thorough ruqya diagnosis. So if you react to this one, then inshallah ta'ala you're cured. Okay, you're cured, alhamdulillah. I myself, alhamdulillah, react to this. So alhamdulillah, I'm cured. Alhamdulillah, you know. So that's the point. They had left the treatment intentions. So what they were trying to play with now, playing around with the final diagnosis. And yes, they did find some little loopholes in that. So what we did, we improved it. It doesn't mean that what you had earlier, what I've put in the other documents in the advanced 7-stage plan, it doesn't mean that doesn't work. It does work for, I would say maybe for a majority of patients that will work. But if your case is quite a complicated case, okay, then you need to do this, you see. Because I've had patients who have done that final diagnosis and then they react to this one as well. So alhamdulillah, meaning that final diagnosis they have, it still works and it's genuine. That's why I'm not going to remove that diagnosis, you see. But this one is just a bit more thorough, you see. So do that diagnosis. You do this diagnosis. Okay, there it is, number 1. Scroll back up. You see the final comprehensive cure diagnosis number 1 for those with SDs on their deterrent connect pathways. So you do this diagnosis. You get your reaction. Alhamdulillah, you're cured. That's wonderful, okay? And what I would say after that is that you keep this diagnosis, as I say here. Please keep this new diagnosis with you. And whenever you do a final diagnosis, then do this one and leave off the other one you were using. This is because this diagnosis here is more comprehensive. So use this one. Leave off the other one, which is in the final, in the advanced 7-stage plan. Leave that one there and use this one, inshallah ta'ala, okay? Leave this. And what you do here, leave it the way it is. Don't add any full stops or anything like that to it. Just leave it the way it is. Because we've left it like that. You adding or changing something to that, even full stops of that, it might change something here, okay? So just leave it the way it is. As you can see, I've not added any full stops on that. We've just left it like that. So you leave it like that as well. It works. Okay, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just leave it the way it is, please. Okay. Right. And then what we've got here. So if you get a reaction to that, fine. Okay, so you can copy and paste that. Keep that with you. All right. And that's the diagnosis you do, inshallah ta'ala. Basically how Brother Saeed does it on himself. Okay. Right. The next one, as you can see, is for those who don't have any spiritual disease on their pathways, you see. I mean, they don't have anything on their deterrent pathways. So the final comprehensive cure diagnosis number 2, for those who don't have SDs on their deterrent connect pathways. Also for those who want to check if they have any SDs, final version 1. Yeah, so this is good for the ones who don't have any SDs on their deterrent pathways. Okay, so we come across some patients that they do this. They don't have any SDs. They had some spiritual disease, but they don't have anything on the deterrent pathways, you see. So this is the diagnosis they would do to see if they're cured. If they get a reaction for this one, okay, if they get a reaction, then there is a problem. they've got a problem. But what they want, obviously, when they do this number 2, ideally is not get any reactions. They mustn't get any reactions. They don't get any reactions, then we can say, okay, alhamdulillah, you're cured. Okay? Let me go back to number 1. Remember, number 1, you're going to get a reaction for number 1. Okay? Okay, you must get a reaction, as I put there underneath there. Number 1, those people who got deterrent pathways, you have to get a reaction. You get your reaction, then we know that you're cured. Alhamdulillah, everything is on your deterrent pathways. You're basically like this. Everything is on your deterrent pathways. Okay? You don't have anything on your, anything on the connector of freeze. Everything is on the outside of your body. That's what you're reacting to, basically. All right? Okay? That's how most patients will be. All right. So the second one is going to be for those patients who don't have anything on their deterrent pathways. What do? They do this diagnosis. If they get a reaction, it means there is something there. They have to basically do the treatment to get rid of that. Okay, and they're going to have to probably go back to the advanced 7-stage plan and follow that and deal with that. Okay, that's what they have to do. This intention as well, number 2, is good for those people who want to see if somebody they know, or if they want to see if they've got any spiritual diseases. Okay, so this is what this one is good for as well, because it has nothing really to do with the pathways. Because remember, the pathways are not a spiritual disease; they don't react. Okay, so if somebody doesn't have any pathways and they want to know if they want to, they've not done any relief ruqyah on themselves, and they want to know if they've got any spiritual diseases, well, they can do this diagnosis. Okay, have Surah Falaq and Nas in their heart, and then read with this intention. If they get reactions, then we can say, you've got something. There is something there, you need to treat it. So go do the advanced 7-stage plan. Dave. Okay. Now, for those people who don't react to number 1, okay, they don't get that reaction, that final cure diagnosis. They don't get that reaction. Okay, there's an issue here. You didn't get a reaction. So what can you do? What you do, you're gonna have to do number 3. Look at number 3 here. Relief ruqyah reset. You're gonna have to do that. That's the first thing you should do. Same applies to somebody who does the final comprehensive diagnosis number 2. They do that one and they get reactions, again, which they shouldn't get reactions, then they need to do this reset as well. Okay, so let's look at this reset. There's the reset intention there. I'm not going to go into explain what that is. It's just a longer reset. And this is version 3. It's more detailed, okay, to get rid of more problems which I noticed, okay, and we identified from experience, okay. So I've made it longer, and it seems to be working very fine. It seems to be working fine, alhamdulillah. So you'll do this reset ruqyah, and what you will do, you will read again here for half an hour. You will read this relief ruqyah reset on yourself. Okay, for half an hour you read this relief ruqyah reset on yourself. Okay, once you've done half an hour of that, you do diagnosis to see if the reset relief ruqyah final version 3, which you've just finished for half an hour, you see if it's been completed. You do this diagnosis here, number 4. Do the diagnosis on yourself, see if you get reactions. If you get reactions, then no, alhamdulillah, the relief ruqyah has been done properly. That's been done. Okay. Once that's been done, okay, what you can do next, okay, would be to do the diagnosis again. Go back and do your final diagnosis again. See if you get reactions. Okay. If you get reactions, define you do the number 1 final comprehensive cure diagnosis. You get reactions, then you know, alhamdulillah, you're cured. You're done. If you don't get reactions, then what could that mean? Well, it could mean that you might need to do stage 4 and stage 4, 5, and 6. So go back to the advanced ruqyah 7-stage plan. Okay, notes that you have, and do stage 4 treatment, do stage 5 treatment, and do stage 4 treatment, and you do stage 5 diagnosis, and you do stage 6. Once you finish stage 6, then you come back and then you do this diagnosis again and see what happens to you. Hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, you should get the cure. You know? Right, so that's the relief ruqyah. You got number 4, seeing the relief ruqyah is complete. Okay, here's number 1. It's a different one here. different diagnosis that I haven't shared with you before. Diagnosis to see if you need to do Reset Ruqya version 3. Well, you do this diagnosis, see if you need to do it. So before even doing the Relief Ruqya, if you want to do this diagnosis, see, okay? Or you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show me if I have to do Reset Ruqya version 3. Okay, because only Allah knows if you need to do it. If you get a reaction here, then you know, okay, look, you need to do the Reset Ruqya version 3. You need to do Reset Ruqya version 3. So then go back and do that. You see, okay, you might find that. So that's pretty useful using that one. Okay, you got another diagnosis here which is important, which you might want to use. Okay, diagnosis to check if you need to do stage 4. Need to do stage 4 version 2 treatment on yourself. Okay, maybe you don't need to do, so you maybe didn't get a reaction for the final diagnosis, but you don't have to do version 4. So you don't have to do stage 4 treatment. Sometimes this can happen. Okay, many patients, what happens, some patients, they don't have to do stage 4. That's not the problem. The issue is that they have to extract the information. That's what the issue is. So that as soon as they extract that information, they get that information, they say, oh, well, show me if I've extracted all the important information from my spiritual disease. They get a reaction. And then what they do, they go back and do the final diagnosis. Number 1 is on here. They get that reaction. Then, alhamdulillah, you don't need to do any treatment. No, all it was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to give them some information. That's what it was. Okay? So you might find this one useful and helpful to find out if you need to do stage 4. Okay? Okay? Do this, inshallah ta'ala. And this is really primarily for those patients who have finished the advanced 7-stage plan. Usually patients who haven't done it, they have to do stage 4. Okay, but if you've done stage 4 several times, or a few times even, during the advanced 7-stage plan, then sometimes what it seems, and Allah knows best, it seems that patients who have done it a few times, they don't have to keep doing stage 4 treatment and stage 6 treatment. You know, they don't need to do that. Okay, but in order to know if you need to do it or not, do this diagnosis. If you get a reaction, then you need to do stage 4. Right, I put a link in there for the overview of the advanced 7-stage plan. In there, you'll find you find the stage 4 diagnosis, the stage 4 treatment. You'll find it there. You'll find there stage 5 diagnosis, and you'll find stage 6 treatment there as well. Okay, and you'll find information about how to extract the information, and if you're extracting information correctly. Okay. So that's basically that. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 here is talking about if you need to do stage 6. Just like if you need to do stage 4, you find out if you need to do it or not. You can use this diagnosis here, number 7 here, to see if you need to do stage 6. Okay. Dave. Next one, if you scroll down. Diagnosis to see if you have extracted all the important information that Allah wants you to know. All right. If you get a reaction here, then you know that, okay, you might have reacted to that you don't need to do. You don't get any reactions for that you need to do stage 4 and stage 6 treatment. Okay. So then what you'll do this diagnosis. You get a reaction, alhamdulillah. Then what you will do, go back to the diagnosis to see if you're cured. Number 1. And if you get a reaction there, then you're cured. Okay. If you don't get a reaction to this, then it means, okay, there's some information that Allah wants you to know. Okay. There's some information that Allah wants you to know. So then you have to try to extract that information and go back to the link where under number 7, point number 7, the advanced 7-stage plan, the overview of the advanced 7-stage plan. You go there and basically extract that important information that Allah wants for you to have. Okay. And like I say here, and point number 8, I say you must get Ruqya reaction here. Yeah, you must get Ruqya reaction here to show you that you've got all the information that Allah wants you to have. If you do, then you have extracted all the information that Allah wants for you, basically wanted for you. If you don't, then you need to extract the info from your spiritual diseases. Okay, and then I put here some diagnostic sort of questions here for you to keep on track, so you don't extract unnecessary information that is useless to you, and it's not information that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for you, so you don't get misguided. So, saves you from doing silly diagnosis like, does Iblis live in the Bermuda Triangle, for instance. People who do strange things like this, you see. So this will keep you on track and make sure that you extract the information that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for you, and you don't start doing something other than that, basically. You see, so just note that down. They're important. They're important for you. Okay. Number 9 basically is just the like I showed you earlier at the beginning, is the thorough diagnosis, which is the long version of the diagnosis basically. Okay, like I said, we wrote this to cover all of the loopholes that they had found from the. It's not many. There's only a few. Like I said, not many patients are affected by that. You see, but just to make sure, we wrote this intention for all patients. You see, okay. So just to cover any of the loopholes that the jinn seem to have found. You see, they seem to have found it. Now they might have not deliberately found it. They just realized that they weren't looking for these loopholes, but they sort of got away with it basically. You see, anyway, the main thing here is that what we found is having these intention, having this thorough diagnosis closes all the possible doors that they have. You see, because I don't think I have to be honest, I don't think the jinn, maybe some were. I don't have all the information. We know that sometimes some patients weren't reacted to the final diagnosis and there were some issues. You see, it seems that the jinns were trying to play, some jinns, after finding out there was some issues with the final diagnosis, they tried to find some sort of loopholes. But anyway, the main point here is that this works, alhamdulillah. It seems to cover all of the issues here with the jinn, what the jinn want to do. Or, try to avoid basically the intention so that you will still be affected by them. And when you'll be walking around thinking that you're totally cured, and in reality you weren't, because they had found some sort of loophole, basically. Or during this diagnosis, you get a reaction to this, then you're cured. And you don't do this diagnosis here. You refer to the number 1. I've just given you the this is the long version, but what you do the short version. That's what you need to do, and that short version refers to this one basically. Okay, it refers to this diagnosis here. These intentions here. Okay, that's basically number 9. Number 10, what we have here is just basically the second one, the number 2 diagnosis for those people who don't have spiritual diseases on the deterrent pathways, or those patients who want to know if they're suffering from a spiritual disease, basically. Okay, yeah, that's basically that. You see, so that's what they would be referring to. Again, for them, you don't do this diagnosis. You refer to the summary. The summary, that's what you do. Okay, you refer to the summary, and you have that in your heart, and then you refer, because that summary refers to basically this. You see, Dave, I think I've covered everything here. I don't think I need to cover anything else, because basically I'm only speaking to those patients who've done the advanced 7-stage plan. I don't have to give them too many details, because they've got enough knowledge really to know what I'm talking about. Okay, they've got enough knowledge to do Ruqya diagnosis. They know all about that. They know about extracting information, how to do that. They know about the different stages of the advanced 7-stage plan. They know all of that, so I don't have to give you too many details. In fact, it should be that I should be able to just present this document to you briefly, and you should be able to understand it without really giving you much information regarding it. Dave, that's all I wanted to say here.